Suravasa, obviously.
Select your hero. Select heroes to ban.
Doomfist, Bull, Sombra. Every time. Is that easy? Doomfist, Bull, Sombra. Doomfist, Bull, Sombra. Doomfist, Bull, Sombra. Perfect.
Welcome to Realth. Prepare for battle. Select your hero.
Ba 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 ba. Hey, Amthos. Oh look, my team's locked two tanks. What a rare occurrence. Wow. I find it so funny. So many people saying. Turn that down a bit. I find it so funny. So many people saying that that there's still queue time problems. Meanwhile, every single game somebody locks two tanks. Hello, Squeed. How are you today? I'm fine, thank you. I've been invited back to the gym, so I'm going to be off at 6, but I'm very good. I'm going to be doing Overwatch content on Monday as well. I've got a lot planned. I have hilariously, and this is a great piece of content I've got ready for you guys, and I'll spoil you on it. I have recorded all of the cringe Marvel Rivals adverts on Reddit. They are so bad, man. I've recorded all of them. I've got 4 of them ready, and we're just gonna go through them. They're so funny, man. Just so cringe. Oh, I need to go full screen. So that's an important thing to do. Sunday gonna be variety hour? Monday variety hour. We're doing Pugs on Sunday, as per every week. Man, people really hate you being on off angles these days. I really need to take high ground. You know what I'll do? I'll just stand in the middle and do nothing. Spam down main, spam down main. If I hit a shot, man. If I hit a shot. Hey, Megamon. Good morning. How are you? Just know the Jeff one, but I think I saw the first time after I heard they nerfed him, so you could not play like that anymore. Yeah. They are so cringe, man. And it's so obviously people just reading off of scripts that never played the game. It's so funny. It's so funny. I want to take an off angle, but... aim at the general direction. Hope they zag when I zig. Ooh. The hell's Zarya? Oh, what I died to? Moira right click. Damn. Oh, it's on Disco Elysium. Ignore my messy desktop. Anyway, you doing anything interesting, Megamon? You had a good week? I've been off for a week apart from Disco, so I'm pretty much out of the loop with Overwatch. Obviously, everyone came up with new Overwatch buzzword in BlockSlop, and that's been going around, and I pretty much missed the whole BlockSlop thing. You know what? I'm sure this will be fine. Nobody on my team seems to be doing anything, including me. Obviously, I'm not saying that it's not Winston that doesn't dive.
60 seconds.
Supports that don't support angles and just stand on main. Truly is an Overwatch situation of all time. Apparently the mechanic no one liked in the game is now worse. I don't think it's now worse. It's about the same as it was before, right? People have just kind of realized. I think the thing is, I don't have a theoretical problem with blocks, and we'll talk about this in a bit, so it's not a massive spoiler. But yeah, I don't have that much of a theoretical problem with blocks, really. I'm fine with blocks existing. It's that. Go away, soldier. I can't aim! I can't aim! Why am I being shot by? There's a Moira in our backline. She just killed 2. I hate DPS supports. Somebody left the game. Excellent. Good start. I don't mind block in theory, but often the number is just too high to be reasonable to fight against. Yeah, and I guess we have to split the nail down the line of block is broken, right? Just absolutely broken at the moment. Doomfist block is crazy frustrating. Yeah, I think Blizzard unfortunately took a cue from Spyler and made Tank's distraction value really high. Oh, Tank should be really intimidating and other stuff like that, and it's just yeah. I should change that to be a longer timer. That is edit, and that's going to be. So that was going off every 15 minutes during Disco. We have finished Disco Elysium. Everyone that doesn't like Disco Elysium, praise yourself. Everything's good. We finally finished it. Absolutely incredible game. Fucking enjoyed that so much. It was so good. Yeah, just what an experience, man. Just what an experience. Kuno, my goat. Yeah, it's a shame we didn't take the Kuno as our partner. I've looked up quite a few of the Kuno interactions that you can get, where Kuno is your partner and defends you at the officers' tribunal or whatever. It's so good, man. There's always so much you can do with distraction value. If only because the value of distraction is so different in low and higher ranks. Yeah, and the value should be pretty obviously. The value should be being able to actually threaten people, right? Like that should be the value. Man, Arissa should be deleted from the video game immediately. It's okay, I'm leaving the game in 3 seconds. Right, one more, then we'll go on to other things. Yeah, I think there's been a bit of a further with BlockSlop for some reason. I don't really know why it's become so popular to comment on it. Like, obviously, BlockSlop, something. I do think it's a 5v5 issue, though. I don't think it's nearly as problematic in 6v6. Like, in 5v5, you have to put so many resources into killing a tank that when the tank has an instant get out, it becomes incredibly frustrating because they can just save that. And it's also a problem with passivity, so we really need to talk about that. The thing with Disco is that I didn't watch the first stream, and because of that, I was not very interested. Well, yeah, the entire I'm currently uploading the entirety of it. It's taking fucking ages to upload because I keep rendering it wrongly and having like 50 gig files to upload and not being asked to go back and re-render it. So yeah, Kajor, release the numbers. He released the numbers. Release a list. Release a list. Ram has 4,000 HP in 5v5. Wow. In 6v6, you just have 2 tanks blocking. Yeah, and that's its own curse. And I think the problem with blocks in general is blocks should be an aggressive tool, not an exclusively defensive tool. At least they should have choices there. And there should be trade-offs, right? Bad players should use a block defensively, or block should be used defensively sometimes. It shouldn't be default to defensive. Yeah, I fucking love Disco Elysium so much. Such a relaxing, chill game. I love being able to read for you guys a bit as well because I like reading books and narration and stuff like that. So it's nice to have a little bit of that in there. Happily watch the Let's Play on YouTube at my own rhythm. You can see me getting mad at random like 5 times at your own rhythm. Oh man. Oh, don't exhaust all dialogue options. Don't exhaust all dialogue. I'm just picking the ones I want to pick random. Piss off. Hey, Maxi. Like 5 times, more like 58. Oh, don't do just exhausting them all. No, I'm not. I'm just picking the ones I want. Zarya, man. Yeah. 100% chance there's going to be a Doomfist on one of the teams. 100% chance. Oh, do I get to play tank this game? It's been ages since I got to play tank. Everyone just interlocks it. Orisa Zarya ban? Is this flat? I don't know. I don't know why everyone's still banning Zarya. Seems like a weird one to me. This is a good pug comp. This is a sick ball kind of situation. Ooh, you know what? A King's Row ball ram. Sick ball is obviously ridiculously better. For some reason, teams fall over against Zarya and Golden Plat. It's literally just the damage output. People can't deal with it. Where's the enemies? Oh, a ball. I just got a lag spike there. If anyone else. I'm getting stutters for some reason. Die! Diana! I should have put that. Oh, they just didn't touch. Okay. I mean, they're all here. They just didn't touch. Man, 1 second shield recovery is just stupid, man. Why is this in the game? It's so obnoxious, stupid. Oh, hit the wall. Whatever. Play Sigma exclusively after my break is the only tank that can deal with the projectile spam and high healer. Projectile spam and high healer? What, you mean like Soja and Hanzo kind of stuff? There's a lot of damage in this mode at the moment. I feel like the general DPS of most characters has gone up massively. For instance, like Hanzo's reload stuff is just crazy. Like that perk just ruins the game in my opinion. Oh, look, there's the Doomfist. It was always going to happen. It's just a matter of time, isn't it? Oh, yeah, Doomfist. Ooh, so much fun. So much fun to play into and against and with. Doomfist players are absolute degenerates, in my opinion. Has anyone actually met a Doomfist player that's not a degenerate? Just piss off! Okay, are you Scrap? The Doomfist in the back line. Fuck off! Oh, you got a block. Oh. Okay, well, there you go. Just fuck off! I'll kill myself. Fucking Doomfist. Why does nobody ban Doomfist? Why is Doomfist not banned? What a fucking degenerate hero. Sigma should be rebalanced around energy use. Oh yeah, to completely remake the character. Yeah. No doubt. I'm sure Doomfist turns people into degenerates. I think they're degenerates and they find Doomfist because they are. Chipsa was chill initially? Do you think Chipsa was chill initially? I think Chipsa was always unhinged, just didn't have a reason to, like, I don't know, undo the latch, right? There was a key missing somewhere in Chipsa's brain, and Doomfist gave him that. But he always had the propensity for it. Literally, Venture. Just fuck off. That's fucking rocked. I modded for a man who's pretty okay. You modded for Chipser? Interesting. But at some points, there might as well not be a mod since everything won. Don't talk about your brother like that. No doubt, no doubt. Yeah, I do need to lose weight. That's true. You know what? You guys will be the reason that I don't die young. Just mocking me by telling me I look like Chipser. It's enough. It's enough impulse to actually do some exercise. Save me! Save me! How did that happen? Oh. That the latest trance in the world. What are they playing? Stig Doom? They just go ram and I walk at them. Can I actually do anything about that? I was actually thinking I'd lost weight. No, I've gained weight over the last. Actually, I've been pretty much stable for the last 6 months. Tell a lie. Okay, I can do everything because I got speed. Ah, Christ alive, fucking hell. No, save me. Where's my team? What are they doing? Why are they in spawn? There was a Sigma behind, so they all stayed in spawn. I didn't even realize the Sigma was there. Did he go up the top?
This ends now.
It's funny, if you look back at my my videos like 5 years ago, I was really thin then. Because I was working a ridiculous amount and not actually doing YouTube. YouTube is unhealthy for you. That's the truth in life. Shoot the Sigma! Shoot the Sigma! Oh god! Oh, BlockSlop. Sigma just walked into it. Kill the Doomfist! Kill the Doomfist! Doomfist is a general character. Oh, piss off. Okay, we got all. This poor Reinhardt, man. He's just got... Oh. I mean, I guess we're going to be doing something to somebody. How did they get behind us? Punchy, punchy, punch. At least you can be kind of aggressive at a lower elo with Ram in 6v6. In 5v5, you just have to always save the block because nobody can ever save you. I saw a bunch of people running in circles around a hedge near my old job last week. The building said it was CrossFit. CrossFit people are absolute degenerates. How good does it feel to have Mercy's energy or supports post Season 9? It doesn't really matter. I'll be honest, it doesn't really matter at all. It feels pretty much the same. I'm used to having low resources, and post Season 9 you have a little bit more resources in yourself before you actually like die to stuff, so I think post Season 9 probably feels a little better. No wonder Realth does CrossFit then. CrossFit people are so weird, man. They're so weird. You know they have CrossFit tournaments and CrossFit like competitions. They'll like literally go into a room and do exercise competitively against each other on how many fucking like press-ups they can do and shit. They're weirdos, man. If you're gonna do a competition, at least make it like Taekwondo, right? You're kicking each other. Don't make it like I stand there facing you and I do press-ups menacingly, right?
More like the stuff of medical nightmares.
Like you're doing an Overwatch competition for your Pugs? No, it's nothing like that. No, Maxi, stop right there. CrossFit made it a very dangerous sport. I don't think it's dangerous inherently. I think it's the way people practice it. It's one of those like modes of exercise that I think people go crazy with. Oh, he's dead. BlockSlop. BlockSlop. Oh, sleep. Oh, BlockSlop. 90% damage reduction. BlockSlop. Just doing that for lamp. See if I can get the lamp. Fuck it. Why are they dying to this? They're just walking at him. Why is my entire team dead? What happened here? I wanted to shield up. Going back for the health back. How did they all die? They just died because I can spam. What if we swap Rhine charge and ult? Base ability is AoE charge, short slam range. Ult would be instant kill. There's a reason some people are not hired as developers, and it's because they are degenerates and they should feel bad about themselves. Save me! Save me! Oh, my team's just there. Okay. Mercy's in spawn, that's why. Dangerous to expect a normal human to do a clean rapidly several times in a day with no break. I think the thing is, because they're short sets, and that's kind of like what CrossFit is, it's just short set exercises. People like run through them, get themselves really tired, and then they're doing weights while doing cardio at the same time. And they don't really fit together unless you're willing to slow down and make sure your form's okay. So people end up throwing the weight around instead of like respecting it, and that's when they hurt themselves, right? So that's why CrossFit is more dangerous in general. Fuck it. Is they nano? Oh. Success! We did something! No? What are you doing? What are you doing? Leave me alone! Leave me alone! Venture! Oh, everyone's in spawn? I thought we had 3 alive. I thought we had 1 spawn. Yeah, Venture is very Doomfisty, aren't they? I know they made Venture to be kind of like a Doomfist answer for what a healthy Doomfist character would look like, but the answer is, it's still not particularly healthy. It's just not healthy. Oh, you can die. Ah! I got stuck on the corner. I got stuck on the corner. Oh, you see me, little I would have been fine. It's based on Sion from League. He works great, just without perma HP scaling. I'm not a League gamer. I really should invest in learning League. Leave me alone. Why am I being bullied? We just got absolutely crushed. People are just getting picked left, right, and center. Admittedly, I was staggering like a bitch, so. League, you're put on 600 pounds. True, true. Gotta maintain my healthy weight. Reworked into what he does now in 2014. What wasn't even out. I mean, everything's gonna feel derivative of something else at a certain point. Like, these games only have a certain amount of design space in them. You can't just generate design space for free. It's always gonna have crossovers. Really, the things that matter, whether the character's bursty, whether the character's like high resource demand, and whether the character's sharp. Why do we play back now? It would have been free if we had earlier. +5. +5. when the Digimon TCG comes out on mobile, you should try it. That sounds like a very nerdy thing to do, and I'm not going to do that because I'm not a nerd like you.
Your work is a hypothesis. Prove it.
Does anyone pick any other perks apart from... I know the health pack perk's okay, but like the anti-brawl perks seem just so good. Join us? No. Fucking Digimon? I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh man. No, I'm not a Yu-Gi-Oh man. They don't like me very much. Stop it. Stop putting all your cooldowns into me. I've done nothing wrong. Oh, Ram's dead. Was Ram's dead. Leave me alone. I just want to stay in your backline and farm you. What is that? What are they doing, man? My team's just like in spawn. Oh, I'm doing it. That's enough of armor. Could be fine. I'm using the ball part wrecking ball. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah, Vortex just accidentally gets me. Vortex is so strong, man. They have just like 17 ults. Digimon TCG is the first time I had fun with trading card games since very early Yu-Gi-Oh! I liked Hearthstone when it first came out. I think Hearthstone creep just got way too high to the point where basically the game was useless. At this point, I wouldn't even think of touching the game because it's so so degenerate, so devolved. Like basically, if you're on turn 3 and you haven't killed the enemy already or threatened to kill the enemy already, like you're just done. I like the putting the 2-3 down on the board on turn 2 and that being an okay play, right? That's what I liked. I loved Arena back in the day. Creep came in so fast. It just sucks, man. They just need to strip back all of their shit. But there's no way to do that. They just need something new and flashy every single time in order to get people in. But I get it. Like, every time you pull an expansion, you need something worth buying into. But, This is why I main Battlegrounds. I don't think Battlegrounds does the same itch for me. Battlegrounds is fine, don't get me wrong, but it's like, I don't want to play any of these. Oh, lock Malga. May as well take the reload since I'm not going to be able to stand on anything. I'll take the burning. The burning's just fun. I don't even think it's that good, but it's just fun, especially when I'm got him. Oh, well, our Rhine traded. Isn't the best trade in the world. Sleep. Nade. Yep, dead. And it's so sharp, man. I mean, at a certain point, what are we going to do? Our Rhine just, like, literally just charged into their backline and died for no reason in particular. So, I mean, it is what it is. He just suicided on cooldown. And make sure engage is meaningful. Yeah, no, I agree. I like the idea of Overrun. I definitely think it's an interesting engagement ability. I just think where a Reinhardt, you don't exactly need it. You just need to be able to not make the Reinhardt feed. But unfortunately, I can't pull the Reinhardt back from Narnia unless I'm on Lifeweaver. So Lifeweaver probably would have been a better lock there. Okay, right. Let's get this into borderless. So I've been off for a while, so I need to do a little bit of catch-up. So I've got like an hour and a half to do a bit of catch-up with you guys. It's time for BlockSlop? Yeah, we can do BlockSlop first. Obviously, the BlockSlop video that came out, screw Spilo. Nobody cares about Spilo's opinion, let's be honest. Spilo's opinions are, oh, I'm going to sit on the fence. I don't even know if it's broken or bugged or not. Let's be honest. Let's turn this off. Let's be honest. We'll go on here. And they broke this again. I don't know what they did that. Anyway, let's be honest. Spilo's opinion it's not broken. It might not be broken. We don't know behind the scenes. It's broken. Let's be honest. It's broken. Unless you do a announcement of the fact that damage reduction is going to be stacking past 50%, we can all acknowledge that it wasn't intentional, because that's a massive change to the game that no sensible person would do otherwise, like without it. Should half of the characters with armor and the ability to block be like locked out of the game until they fix it? Probably not. I mean, everyone knows about it now, so it's kind of understood that it is a thing. Is Ramatra really good now because you can just like speed and then ram hold block and walk at the enemy team with 100% health? Yes, it's incredibly good. It's incredibly boring in my opinion too, but it's really good. So I don't think we should be locking out any of these characters, removing any of these characters. Should it be prioritized above stadium balance hop fixes? Probably. But come on guys, we have to be reasonable with Blizzard, right? What happened was we had Overwatch 1, which was a game that was a bit of spaghetti code because it was a bit of a mess, let's be honest, in terms of them making their first person shooter, right? They didn't really know what they're doing, so I'm guessing the code base was pretty messy. And then they started developing Overwatch 2, which had a complete revamp of the engine, and then 3/4 of the way through it, well, I'd say about 1/3 of the way through Overwatch 2's actual development cycle, they said, well, you need a video game. So they scrambled together, they made a video game, they released it as Overwatch 2, and everything was left half done, so the code was buggy as all hell by the looks of it and just really hard to work with. And then half the team got fired. And over the next couple of years, the rest of the team, I'd say the other like 60%, got churned. So we're in a situation where we have a probably bad base, and then it's been half remade and half like it's been half remade and then half broken while remaking it and then scrambled together, and then everyone got fired, and now we've got this new team here that has no idea what to do with it because it's so awkward to work with, basically. So the armor changes, they might be really hard to do behind the scenes. The answer is you can't know behind the scenes how hard this is. It might be incredibly hard. When they started rushing Stadium to be released, probably made the codebase even worse. Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah, no doubt. It's not saying the new team is flawless and they're just working with a hand that they can't do anything about. I mean, it is what it is. Like, the new team seems to be competent on the things they're doing, but I don't think they started with a foot forward, if you get what I mean. That's all I'm trying to say. So, yeah, we're in a situation where blocks in general, right? Like blocks in general, not talking about BlockSlop, not talking about 90% damage reduction and all that kind of stuff. If we can stack up to the intended amount with no extra over it, such as like, let's say we just say Rams at 70, you can't go higher than 70 with armor and all that sort of stuff. I don't really consider that to be problematic if it's done properly. And I would also say that I do think that any problem that you have with quite a few of these blocks is caused not by the blocks in themselves, but by the passivity in the application of these blocks, and by the well, the 5v5 format in general. Let's be quite honest here. It's a lot less it's a lot more vulnerable to exploitation through specific OP or sharp or broken or out there mechanics, right? Everything needs to be a lot more generalist. Everything needs to be a lot closer to the middle. In my opinion, everything needs to be a lot better designed in order to be able to exist in the 5v5 format. And I think that's why tanks have been a rough edge on that, because, I mean, let's be honest, you put a block there on Ram, you don't give them any incentive to ever go into form without wanting to block. Then you've got a problem. If you make it so that Ram can't press the form button, walk forward, start punching somebody, then block back out, man, you've really screwed up, right? You've really screwed that up. So, Lane Hemingway, I've been watching Lane for at least a little while at this point, probably like 6 months or so. He's been consistently producing Overwatch content for a while. I'm very glad that he's getting some views now, because it's been quite a while of just grinding out on the kind of like opinion-based stuff. It seems like he's got some production value behind him now. He's cutting himself. Look at this. Oh, I'm now part of the video game. I'm green screened, yeah. So yeah, he's got some production value, and maybe he's going to be able to do something with that. I think he's got relatively good opinions in general about most things. So let's go with it. See what Lane has to say.
Let's do a quick quiz.
Yeah.
What do these 3 characters all have in common? If you guess that they're all unbearably sexy, you'd be right. But more importantly,
No.
depending on who you ask,
No, they're not
all
right.
these characters have a block. They all come in a variety of shapes and sizes, but they have a couple of key features that they all share. For starters, blocks do not completely mitigate or delete damage and abilities, they only mitigate damage taken. This means that you can still be CC'd or affected by other projectiles when blocking. While these characters are blocking, they have reduced movement and cannot perform any other actions other than canceling the block. And for some characters, you can quickly re-enable the block once you've canceled it. And of course, blocks only reduce damage from the front in one direction, so there is always a weak point that you can exploit.
Not practically. The weak point is, I think that's one of the main problems with blocks. The fact that it's only blocking for the front disincentivizes you from going in aggressively, then using the block for the most part. Because you have to go to the outside in order to be able to block back in and have that damage reduction.
You play Overwatch, you knew all of that. So what are we actually doing here? Every tank in Overwatch has damage reduction or mitigation or something of that
I do
nature,
play Overwatch.
yet blocks feel uniquely frustrating. Why is that? Well, come on, I'm gonna come show you. That's why we're here. That's what we're doing. You know, like, all right, come on. Let's talk about the low-hanging fruit when it comes to why blocks are so frustrating. They're just too fun to shoot. Unlike shields or bubble or matrix, shooting a block
Oh
feels
no, he's spilo-pilled. He's got the Realth theorem with Roadhog. Roadhog feels fun to shoot, and that's why everyone that's why Roadhog's no, it's not to do with this. Blocks are not fun to shoot. They're really boring to shoot. What is this true of the low ranks? Do low rank players like shooting the block? I admit they do make crazy, fun, goofy noises, but like what?
exactly like you're shooting someone as normal. It tricks your brain.
I hate when people start off with psychology as their arguments. It almost rubbed me up the wrong way.
Into thinking that what you're doing has the exact same amount of impact as if they weren't mitigating the damage, so you're much more inclined to shoot them. And I think that's kind of what they were going for when they made these abilities. Unlike most of the tanks in Overwatch who many times you're supposed to ignore, I think that these characters with blocks are designed to be shot, designed to take your attention away undeservingly. Here, take—
Yeah, it's a weird one there, like, it's always been that argument that tanks are there to distract and force shots onto them. But I think that leaning on this distraction value and leaning on the psychological way that lower ranked players want to shoot something that's easy to shoot and other stuff like that, like with Roadhog, like with Doomfist, like with all of these distractions, like with Bull, kind of leads into problematic issues when you go from the lower ranks to the medium and high ranks, where shooting that person isn't actually good even in the low ranks, and it becomes incredibly problematic to do in the high ranks, or incredibly useless to do in the high ranks. So like you basically baking in systems into your game that are the opposite of what is good to do, and you're baking in kind of like this kind of like, I don't know. I just hate it as a design principle, I guess.
Take a character like Winston, and of course, his bubble. When he dives your backline, you do have a couple of options. Turn and try and break the bubble, go inside the bubble and try and shoot him directly, or just go focus on a backliner or someone who isn't actively using the bubble. What Winston does is introduce a new obstacle into the field that has adverse effects on the enemy like blocking LOS of teammates and enemies. Sure, there are times where you should break the bubble, but more often than not, you need to find an alternative solution. Reposition around the bubble, knock him out of his safe space, maybe even
I think the reason we're here in the first place, and I don't think this has been acknowledged yet, the reason we're here in the first place is that nobody likes shooting something that's immortal. It feels awful. That's the point of double shield. That's the point of giga tanks with infinite sustain before season 9. Nobody likes shooting immortal shit. Nobody likes doing stuff that doesn't matter. And block is just another one of those things rearing their head in the game again. Right, that's why we're here in the first place.
Anticipate where he's going to go after the bubble and shoot him there. There's a lot of decisions to make. Where, when, and how Winston puts his ability down is really going to determine what you do. But now consider that same example with Hazard jumping your backline instead. You have a lot more limited options. Are you going to shoot him or ignore him? The problem here is that when you ignore Winston, he lacks a lot of the kill threat by himself. So his goal is trying to put as much pressure on your team to draw that attention back to him. But when you ignore Hazard, he just goes on a killing spree.
Yeah, because the 5v5 slop tanks, I mean, it is what it is. When you go to 5v5, if you don't make the characters able to put out single target lethal pressure, then you have a massive issue. And like, so they made Hazard the exact opposite of what they should have done in my mind, which is centering the block in his kit and the reflective damage of the block in his kit versus centering the lunge in his kit, right? If you center the lunge, he has to lunge in and then murder somebody, then he's got a block that's really annoying and he can sustain there. If you center the block, what you do is you allow him to take space in a kind of like a cheeky or opportunistic way, or maybe use another tank if you, for instance, have another tank in order to take that space, and then to block aggressively into the enemy team, and then either deepen that angle with the lunge and half or whatever you've got left of your block meter, or to get out with the lunge. It's kind of like exact opposite of what I think is healthy in a tank, and yeah, Hazard just awful. The lethality on tanks like this is just awful. It makes me feel horrible when I play against it, because I feel like everything's just dying around me. I have no control over where things stand, right? You can't have something incredibly lethal and also immortal and can go anywhere at the same time, because then people have no counterplay apart from literally just walking away from it. And that's what you have to kind of do for Hazard for the most part. You have to walk away from him and zone him out of a massive lunge range, which means you can't stand anywhere because the massive lunge range covers the entire map. I fucking hate it.
So to stop that, of course, you shoot him, but his super survivability with block prevents him from actually dying, and it still allows his team to push up. Leaving Hazard or Ram unchecked is not a solution, so you kind of get stuck having to deal with them, and when you're shooting their blocks, it's pretty unfun. It feels like you should be getting more done than what you're actually doing, and often you fall into this
because it is literally been constructed to feel good to shoot it, despite the fact that it isn't for some reason.
This trap of like, oh, I'm just there, I'm right there, I'm about to kill him, don't worry guys, and you kind of never do. Obviously, it's okay for tanks to have kill threat, but the brain that Hazard and Ramon...
No, it's okay for tanks to have pressure they can put out in an AoE way. Single target kill threat that is incredibly sharp on incredibly long range is oppressive and is absolute bullshit. And it's the only reason they've done this in the first place is because nobody wants to play tank in the awful 5v5 format without them doing it, without them literally being two characters in one that can do all of the stuff from DPS and also be a tank at exactly the same time. It's not good. This is bad, really bad.
Matra have over the battlefield because of their blocks is just kind of a...
If you need to charge jump for at least 1 to 1.5 seconds to get max range, it would be bearable. I don't think so, because you're still spacing yourself out from his positioning in exactly the same way. Sure, it's a little bit more telegraphed, and that does help. Don't get me wrong, it does help, but it still means you can't stand there. It is still good for him to always be lunging at an angle in exactly the same way that D.Va lunges at an angle in a lethal way. If you got that lethality and you can't fight off this angle by burning their resources with like resources on you or giving that space and then re-engaging back into that space, right? If you can't do that, then you end up completely zoned out of the space regardless of whether it's telegraphed or not.
Nightmare to deal with. But what about their big weakness with block? Shooting them from behind. I mean, that's how you deal with someone who runs past you. You surround them. But like, can you actually surround them effectively? Ignoring Ram's shield and Hazard's wall, which
No, you can't, because the fact that the block is only forward incentivizes them to never go into your team and be surrounded. Like, there's not a realistic thing to happen.
just kind of exacerbate this problem, their blocks are too effective at mitigating damage. Think of every character having a center that has a coordinate that determines their position on the map. Damage can come in from all sides, 360 degrees around them, right? Now your character always faces one direction perpendicular to the y-axis, directly in front of their character model. Blocks are coded to reduce damage in a cone shape.
Look at
with a
this production
certain
value.
angle centered
Yeah,
on the direction
boy.
the character is facing. The problem here is
He's
that
gone
the
into workshop chamber green screen mode.
size of those cones is far too large. Ramatra's and Doom's are about 106 degrees in total, and
It's been changed a couple
Hazard's
of
is
times.
a whopping 180. That means if you are standing directly to the side of Hazard, you are not getting full damage on him. You are still getting reduced damage. This allows these characters to get to your backline and not...
Yeah, because Hazard shouldn't be a character that jumps into your backline then blocks, which is what they had to do, because this is the gameplay loop they chose for him. They chose the gameplay loop of lunges at your fucking backline, murder someone, blocks for 4 seconds, you can't do shit, gets out. That's what they chose for him. What they should have chose for him is in or by your front line and presses into your front line with that block in order to be able to get value from it. It's an aggressive use case of the block, which is what I thought they were going to do when I first fucking saw the character, which is why I was quite excited to begin with, before they made the character awful by buffing the worst parts of it and the most lethal parts of it for no reason in particular. Like, they need this 180, because that's the only way they can actually allow a Hazard to be able to go in, because they haven't built him around not going in and just murdering people.
really have to worry about getting surrounded. Just make sure there's a little bit of cover behind you and you're probably good.
Increase range of block needles a bit, nerf damage a smidge. And give them the lifesteal perk by default, and also make it so that his lunge goes a short distance or does less damage, or his left click does less damage, and other things like that. That's all you need to do, and you can make him quite healthy. Our Hazard in our mode, even just ignoring the wall stuff, we remove the wall in our mode because I consider it to be completely degenerate bullshit. Come at me. Anyway, even completely ignoring the wall, right? Just making it so that he can press in with that right click, especially in 6v6 where there's more targets in certain area that are going to be able to be right click, and you can get a load of value from that. Actually just feels really nice. It feels so good, man.
To go. For Hazard in particular, it's really easy for him to leap to an angle and then just chill with block up because his cone is so large. Basically, even if you do try to counterplay a block by getting behind the blocker, it's way harder for you to execute and way easier for them to deal with you. Speaking on execution, we gotta talk about
blocking in the corner, then lunging straight at the life weaver and doing 3/4 of damage through trio the health. Excellent. Yeah, that's what I like to see.
mechanics. There are none, like at all, for blocks. But that's not inherently a problem. There's plenty of characters that have abilities that aren't necessarily the most skillful in a vacuum. Blocks, for instance, are supposed to be about timing, resource management, and opportunity.
Oh yeah, I don't give a shit about skill scaling. It doesn't really matter to me. You could have low skill abilities, and that's absolutely fine in the game. It's how it actually plays that's my issue. The problem with blocks is the blocks are passive. The blocks don't do anything aggressive. Even the ones that they make to do something aggressive, like Ram, the gameplay loop should be you punch into the enemy team and then you block out when you've taken enough threat, right? That should be it, and it should be on a short cooldown, stuff like that, so you can continuously do that. But like, and the Hazard one where like you should be blocking aggressively into the enemy team. All of these just make it so that if you don't have this as your default playstyle, the other playstyle is I sit on main, I chill. Oh, they're doing something. I guess I'll press the block button. Great. Thanks. Love that, Blizzard.
Should I hold my block to live, or should I try to greed a kill here? Maybe I should not block some of the damage early so my supports can get faster ults.
You see that? You see that phrasing there? You hear this? Right?
Here. Maybe I should not block some of the damage.
Wait.
Should I hold my block to live, or should I try to greed a kill here?
Should I hold my block to live, or should I try to greed a kill here? Right? I have never seen a more telling sentence in my life to do with this. Right? Those are your options. You either AFK passive, hold the block button up, right, when they do something, or you try and murder somebody with the block. right? That's the problem, right? You shouldn't be murdering something. You should be putting pressure onto the enemy team to force cooldowns onto the enemy team because you're a fucking tank. You're not a DPS. Why do the 5v5 tanks have to just be DPS characters? Why?
Maybe I should not block some of the damage early so my supports can get faster ults.
Oh, it's because nobody wants to play tank in 5v5, so the only way to do it is to make them literal kaijus.
Potentially get them before the fight starts. But here's the thing. Ramatra and Hazard do not have enough downsides to make the decision making interesting. Hazard at least has some reload / damage potential and an actual
you look at this. Look at this clip here. This would be so good with lifesteal on it, right? Like, forget the life, forget everything else. A little bit of lifesteal. This would be a cool interaction where you can force cooldowns on the enemy team by blocking, takes like control space, move back with the lunge maybe. That'd be so cool. But instead, while you're blocking, you're actually losing health. So blocking aggressively is never a good idea.
Has some reload / damage potential. And
even in 6v6, tanks wasn't fun. I just disagree with you, Truth. I just don't think you like the same things that I do about the video game if you don't think tanks are fun in 6v6.
Actual resource to manage, but with how fast it comes back and the minor perk allowing him to stack it, it really doesn't
Spider-Man. Come on, come down here, Lane.
come into play very much. Seriously, why does the extra resource from his perk get used up second? You can basically hold it indefinitely and never ever have to worry about it because you'll just kind of always have it. And of course, Ramatra can block, then unblock at will during Nemesis.
By the way, Lane Hemingway has to be an alias, right? There's no way on God's green earth that someone called their son Lane Hemingway. No way whatsoever. He's probably called Josh or something like that, right?
And if you block and cancel into a punch and block right after that, it's almost like he never even put his dukes down. Sure, Ramatra technically loses an ability when he goes into his alternate mode, but it's really easy to get it set up for when he goes into Nemesis, and it's basically like you aren't down any resources at all. And to boot, both of these characters have very little drawbacks to starting and stopping blocking, so it's really easy to get right back into that insane damage pressure that they both have. The decision making and weaknesses are there to a small extent, but there really aren't enough trade-offs for how easy blocking is to execute. Before we move on here, we do kind of need to talk about...
It's just a problem with ease. It's never just been a problem with ease. It doesn't need to be mechanic. It doesn't need to be skillful. It needs to be a choice that matters, whether you do it aggressively or not. The choice now is whether I can kill somebody on the enemy team or I can't, right? And therefore, I should say that's the choice. There's no pressure through blocking. It sucks.
About Doom, because
and that's what we tried to do in our mode. We tried to put pressure back into characters in a non-lethal way. Yeah, we fucked up sometimes and screwed it up and it wasn't great, like with Orisa. Sure, like we screwed up certain things. We gave Orisa an AoE on Fortify. We kept most of the single target pressure. So what did people do? They ran into the enemy team, fortified, and fucking murdered somebody. That's degenerate. But that wasn't the intention. The intention was to make it so that she is less lethal onto individual people and instead has aggressive use cases.
Doesn't really fall into my grievances. Listen, Doom definitely has other problems, but his block...
I like games where it's expected for you to die when you make mistakes. If the only mistake you can make is pressing block too early or form on ram too early, then you've made a degenerate system, whether that is something you can be punished for or not. Like, it doesn't matter. It's just boring.
Is really not that much of an issue. It's an example of something that I like to call indirect survivability. Basically, it's the idea that a character doesn't have to have too much health or mitigation because there is a downside to shooting them. Zarya is the classic example here. It only takes about 200 HP to burn through a bubble, but doing so makes her a super scary kill threat. However, if you don't shoot her, that allows her and her team to set up really effectively. Either way, depending on what you do, Zarya benefits, and she doesn't even have to take that much damage.
See, this is another psychology argument for how to make characters less more survivable. Really, Zarya isn't survivable at all, and it comes into pretty high focus at the high tiers when Zarya blows up instantly. The trouble with Zarya is focus fire and different incentives on the enemy team. Quite frankly, I consider the Zarya interaction to be a little bit problematic. How some people choose to shoot the shield, some people don't, and therefore at low rank is probably best to never shoot the shield, right? Like I consider that to be a little bit problematic in general. It's not great, but you know what? I'm fine with it being in the game. I don't think it's what I like, though. I don't think we should be aiming for this design.
Going back to Doom, I don't think shooting block feeling good is a problem, because when you do shoot it, you immediately go, uh-oh, I shouldn't have shot that. But even if you do give him punch, he'll still have less health for his engage. He might actually have to use that punch and not get much out of it.
I think we should delete Doomfist from the game, Tank Doomfist. It is absolute degenerate bullshit. It should have never been in the game in the first place. They should have made a Tank Doomfist, but they should have done it with any understanding of what makes a tank interesting to play or to use. What they did is made him a bigger DPS with more health and put him into 5v5, because that's what they were doing for 5v5 at the time, but it turns out that's absolute bullshit. That's terrible. Nobody enjoys that, not even the 5v5 players, hence why you've got a high tank queue time. What you actually should have done is make it so that you can apply softer pressure and control space without being absurdly lethal into the enemy team and without being able to instantly kill people with rocket punch due to somebody else on the enemy team shooting him. That's horrible. This empowered punch is awful. It's really bad. It feels so bad to play against. It feels so pretty bad to play into as well, because it doesn't control consistent space. If you notice, quite a lot of the individual tanks that people don't really enjoy playing with, they're the tanks that are incredibly lethal onto these like singular characters, right? They're the tanks that don't control consistent space and allow DPS into angles, because they're not allowing DPS to control like space and be in interesting places. They can do stuff. Do you know what they're doing instead? They're just murdering people, right? They're just taking the DPS's job. It sucks.
But anyway, so Doom actually has varying levels of pressure depending on what the enemy tries to do, unlike Haz or Ramatra. Not to mention that Doom also has a much more committal block.
I swear to God, if you say Doomfist is a better version of this, I'm gonna lose my shit lane.
Because it's on a full cooldown. He can still cancel it at any time, sure, but if he uses it at the wrong time, it is much more of a waste compared to those other characters. The big problem with Doom block is that when the devil himself possesses him and he can eat projectiles that are like 7 feet above his head. Yeah, Doom's power matrix kind of throws those interesting dynamics like right out the window. It's gigantic.
Yeah, I mean, it's a perk thing. Like, perks are fucking awful. They're just really bad. I hate perks. I think I've solidly concluded that perks are something I do not enjoy in any way, shape, or form in the video game. They exclusively make my experience worse. Just exclusively make it worse.
It lasts way too long. It gives Doom an easier time to build the punch, so it's almost like you can't even react to it at that point. It's free value without adding any interesting downsides or decision making, and it makes fighting
Doom punches are worse. The worst part of Zarya's problems with her shield, how different people make different choices on whether to shoot them or not, and therefore they get away with way too much. I don't think playing that psychological game with every single tank is very engaging.
A lot more frustrating. I hate this perk, man. Oh my god. Okay, we know what the issues are. Now it's the part of the video where I'm going to pitch solutions to fix this unique ability type. But are blocks really that unique? What if I was hiding something from you? What if I wasn't telling you the full truth when I set this up?
Oh my god.
What if I
Is it a rug pull in the middle of the video?
That Overwatch has effectively had blocks in the game since it launched in 2016. Oh, you don't believe me? Well, let's take a look at some of my good friends. Rein, D.Va, and Sigma. Each of these characters have direction-sensitive mitigation abilities that can be cancelled at will. Rein pulls out a shield that blocks damage from
I didn't feel like I've been particularly rug pulled by saying Rein's shield is a block, guys. I feel like yeah, I feel like we always knew this.
For himself and
yeah,
his
we know.
allies. D.Va creates a matrix that deletes projectiles that are within its radius, and Sigma has both projected barrier.
They have aggressive use cases. That's the main thing. They have aggressive use cases. Even Sigma's one, the aggressive use case is being able to press the W button or be able to sustain in crazy, stupid places. That's the aggressive use cases. The trouble is when your gameplay loop is standing on main AFKing and then pressing the block button or instantly deleting enemies, right? Like, the blocks should be used in order to enable resource trading with the enemy team. Right, that's what we've missed. That's what the entire game is missing right now.
And kinetic grasp that do the same kind of functions as both the former and the latter. While all of these are unique from each other and don't share all the qualities of the blocks that I was talking about earlier, they're certainly close enough and effectively work the same way. They are really self-survivability tools that are centered around the front of the character. But the real question is, if these are actually effectively blocks, why is no one nearly as annoyed with these characters as they are with the new ones? Well, a big thing I think is that shooting them feels really bad.
I swear to God, if you keep talking about psychology, I'm gonna give you a little squeeze up here, right? You don't want that, do you? Oh yeah. Yeah, you don't want that.
Not only are the visuals and sound effects less pronounced, some of these completely remove both of those entirely. It doesn't actually feel like you're doing anything, so you're a lot less inclined to keep shooting them. You want to find value somewhere else. Of course, with shields, there are going to be certain times where the right play is to shoot them, so a little bit of feedback is generally
What, you mean Blizzard isn't playing a psychological game with its player base to make it feel good to do something that is bad at almost all ranks? Wow! Right, it's almost as if just like designing your game around psychological scaling in terms of what is good to do is probably a bad idea when it conflicts with what is actually good to do.
Okay, but the reason that's so acceptable is because all of these abilities do something else. Remember back to that Winston example where I talked about how Bubble changes the environment of the game? All of these abilities do something similar to that.
I don't give a shit. Bubble would be exactly, guys, Bubble would be exactly the same. In my mind, it'd be more boring, don't get me wrong, but it'd be exactly the same in terms of its use case and its efficacy in the game if it was just an extra armor buff onto Winston. It'd be exactly the fucking same, right? It wouldn't be exactly the same, don't get me wrong, there's differences in it, but it would be exactly as healthy at the very least, right? Exactly as healthy.
Rein and Sig Shield work just like Bubble. They introduce an element that disrupts game plans and forces you to change what you're doing. DM and Grasp can both be used defensively and for your teammates, so now all of a sudden non-tank players getting shot can force the tank out of their position and allow you to take advantage of it. Even though these are all primarily selfish abilities with limited range, the fact that they have multiple applications allows there to be multiple solutions to deal with them. These characters can't do everything at once and are constantly trying to figure out when the best time is to attack or check an angle or peel or anything on this long list of things a tank is supposed to do. The actual blocks in these games do not have these applications, and that bottlenecks the ability of the attacker to try to deal with them. Another problem with the blocks is that there aren't significant downsides to their use or their cancellation, so there is not interesting decision making nearly as much as these other abilities. The shields are very large and have a health bar, and there also isn't enough time to regen them in between times that you would want to use it. Basically, they can't be up at all times. Grasp has a very long cooldown.
Because it's on a resource meter? I don't see how this applies to Grasp at the same time as the other ones.
And using it at the wrong time hurts not only Sig's survivability then, but also in the future. DM is quite
Hey Reward, how you doing, dude?
narrow, with a pretty significant stopping and starting time in between. And of course, some of
I
those
think DM is still degenerate. Like, does anyone think the DM in 5v5 is it in a functionally good state? Like, I don't think so. I don't think most people think so. I think D.Va's degenerate every single time D.Va sees play because 5v5 is awful. Because giving non-aggressive use cases to these abilities is bad because the aggressive use case of D.Va's DM was pretty fucking obvious. It was to enable somebody else to do something in terms of soft pressure. Now, all D.Va does is just, like, yeet themselves at somebody, insta-kill them, then stand there for 3 seconds with DM on. And while she's yeeting themselves at them, they can't shoot back. It's awful. it's really bad. Like, I don't think this is the good version. Sigma Grasp, I don't even think needs to be in the game. Like, I think, sure, like, it's fine. It's an extension of his ability to be able to stand in places, but, like, it's not great, is it? Like, we're not like, yay, Sigma Grasp. Sigma Grasp isn't, like, the ability that I like. The Rhyme one's the only one that's actually good, because the Rhyme one is the only ability he has to be able to swing on the enemy team safely, because he is incentivized in his gameplay loop to swing on the enemy team. If he's not, in situations like, I don't know, Rhine versus Ram matchups where he's not inclined to actually swing, then you've got a big fucking problem, because he feels awful then too. So, like, what you're seeing is every single character has this engendered passivity in their cooldown cycles, or if they do have aggression, the only aggression they have is to yeet themselves at somebody and attempt to insta-kill them. That's the only agency you have in tank nowadays, because something 5v5. Because the only way you can actually make people play this, if you remove all the synergy between tanks and remove the peaks of the experience, is to just make them more lethal, be able to make them be able to insta-kill people more. That's just it, right?
Downsides that I mentioned specifically apply to some of those others as well, but the point I'm trying to make here is that you cannot throw these abilities out willy-nilly. You actively have to manage a resource, which is more than I can say for Ramatra and really even Hazard. I'm not going to sit here and say that all
Lane, I'm begging you, please crop your camera in the corners so we don't have jaggies.
abilities are perfect. Sigma has had his time to be the most broken character in the game. DM is one of the most frustrating abilities and also is really close to being broken at all times. And even Rhine Shield can be a little frustrating to deal with when you aren't in a group or scrim environment. There is actually something to manage, and it makes playing those characters...
Oh yeah, do you know when Rhine Shield is oppressive as well? Do you know when Rhine Shield is oppressive? It's when he charges past your entire team, kills somebody with the charge, and then blocks. That feels awful, doesn't it? That doesn't feel very good to play against. It's almost like this is a consistent feature of a thing that is bad in the video game through all characters if they're able to do it.
Interesting.
Soft pressure? Never heard of it.
And fighting against them a lot more fair. So I want to go through these 3 problem children right here and apply the lessons we've learned to get them back on the right path. I'm going to start with Doom here because, as we talked about before, his block really isn't that bad. For starters, we got to lower the amount of time Power Matrix is up, at least by half, if not more. I want it to feel like you're actually performing a parry and reading your opponent properly. I think we also need to take a page out of Sigma's book here and not allow Doom to have Empowered Punch if his block is canceled.
Before we go through this, I think I just want to go through the heroes, right? So here we are, right? So D.Va in 5v5, her block is awkward and bad. I'm going to be honest, she's way too single target lethal. Doomfist is incredibly single target lethal, and the block is degenerate because of it, because they can commit onto a target and then block in exactly the same way as D.Va. Hazard is exactly the same. Junker Queen is one character that does have an aggressive use case of their mitigation ability, in that they want to use Carnage aggressively into the enemy team. Oh shit, that's probably one of the only characters people think is generically healthy when she sees play. Mauga, right? Mauga's Cardiac Overdrive is so good on such a long cooldown that for the most part, people just use it to sustain the team. Like, it's used as a big push, not actually used to do pressure in any way. We're thinking about... Yeah, but even then, it's an insta-kill kind of, right? You still charge in on Mauga, try and assassinate someone with the stomp, and then Cardiac Overdrive for the most part, don't you? I'm trying to think of like medium ranks instead of the very high ranks, because the only time that Mauga sees play is when Cardiac is good enough that he can just sustain the entire team with it. Orisa, obvious absolute bullshit. This is just a layering of block cooldowns, so the character basically doesn't do anything aggressive. There is no aggressive use case for anything they do. Medium rank, they stand on main till they die, no doubt. Ram, obviously degenerate. There's no aggressive use case for it, because if you press block form early, you just die straight after. Reinhardt, because the cooldowns are so long, you're not incentivized to use it aggressively. Reinhardt has got worse and worse over the years because Rein charges into your backline and then blocks, so you can't do anything about it. I think that is a degenerate style of Reinhardt that we shouldn't be incentivizing. That's a 5v5 style of Reinhardt. I fucking hate it. It's really bad. It makes me sad. It's not very fun. Roadhog has always been degenerate in the fact that he can go into your backline in a lethal way, extend way beyond where he reasonably should be, and then eject lethality into your backline. I don't think that's very fun, and his block is a reactive tool after they put on lethal pressure there. Reactive tool. Sigma, I know it doesn't really matter. I mean, Sigma's grasp is not something that needs to be in the game in general. It's fine. Winston, a character with an aggressive use case. Why do they have an aggressive use? Why don't you bubble defensively, guys? Is it something to do with the fact that he is limited in other ways? Is it something to do with the fact that he actually needs to be able to put on that pressure by jumping into the enemy team? Is it something to do with the fact that bubbles on a certain timing of their cooldown where there's so much downtime in the bubble cycle that you can't really sustain your team with it? A lot of interesting thoughts there. Bull, let's be honest, Bull just is more lethal than they ever have been because of the enhanced pile drive. They just do more damage, they're more single target than ever, and everyone bans that shit for the most part. So yeah, Zarya, fine, right? Zarya's fine in my opinion. They don't have the access to the space in order to project that lethality with the block, and I think that's reasonable that they are playing the mind games, right? So we're in a situation where I don't think any of these are particularly healthy. Like, I just don't think, I don't think there is a good example to use at the moment. I think the example we should be using is 6v6 Reinhardt, where he swings in and blocks backwards. 6v6 Diva, where they DM Reinhardt to swing in, and then they back off, or they don't have the block in order to be able to do other things. Same with Zarya Bubble. Hazard, give him more lifesteal on his block. Don't let him lunge into the depths of hell. Just give him lifesteal on his block so that he can use that aggressively to go in. Obviously, Junker Queen, I've already called her out. Mauga, lower the efficacy of Cardiac Overdrive. Make it an aggressive use case ability. Lower the lethality of Stomp. That's how you do it. It makes it more, and then give him the burning effect on his charge as a default. Area denial, that's the whole point of tanks, right? Right, that's the whole point. Why are we playing tank if we don't like area denial? Right? 5v5 is just the tanks running in and hoping yours is more lethal. Your team can deal with the enemy tank first or faster. The thing is, the 6v6 style of tank, this area control style of tank does work in 5v5. The only reason why it's currently not in 5v5 is because nobody wants to play fucking tank in 5v5 unless you're Giga Kaiju, whatever Flats quote you want to give me this week. Right? That's the only reason people play it. You look at the quotes from any comment on tank in 5v5. Oh, I like being a big guy that can kill the entire enemy team. I like being the Dead by Daylight fucking hunter. Right? Like that's it. That's always been it. So it's like, there's nothing redeemable about 5v5 tanking apart from the ability to just be to be the tank in Left 4 Dead. I don't know. It's just so bad, man. Nothing redeemable.
Winnie already has it. This will, 1, prevent Doom from getting Empowered Punch if his block is cancelled with the ability that would make him get the punch in the first place, and 2, would make it so that Doom can't hold his block too long because he might risk losing that punch that he already built.
Sure.
These are just little changes, but I think you're going to be able to feel that improvement a lot. All right, next up, we have got Hazard.
But the trouble with Doom is Doom's block is a way to allow him to go in and attempt to murder somebody, not a space control tool.
Does have some cool things going for it with the extra damage and the potential to reload his gun, but I think we can do better. For starters, let's shrink that block angle
That's an embarrassing clip.
Way down, at least in line with the other blockers. Not only does Hazard already have wall, which he'll need to use more defensively now, he's also going to be
hashtag remove wall. Terrible ability. Awful.
Inclined to take the lifesteal perk because he might need it more often because he'll take more damage.
Hashtag remove lunge.
That's a quick fix, but let's go to work on Hazard's resource now. Storing charge with that perk has gotta go. That bar needs to go in front of his actual meter. This forces Hazard to think about when he actually does or doesn't have that extra block resource.
It makes it significantly worse though, so you need to do something else with it. Yeah.
When he's gonna use it, and he's actively thinking about it when he throws the wall down. Now Hazard is
or we could just delete the perk system in general. I mean,
a really fluid character, and I think if you touch the time between blocking and unblocking, it's gonna feel pretty bad. So I want to make it so that Hazard has his resources drained if he's taking damage during the block. It'll only take a small percentage of resource relative to the damage that Hazard takes, but it will encourage Hazard to use his block for its other purposes more often, because that's when he's going to get the most value out of that resource. Sitting there taking damage while you're blocking is going to be not nearly as effective. I think I'd be down for if every single instance of damage took the same amount of his resource away, so he's still incentivized to hit those big moments and not the trash damage.
Is he incentivized to hit those big moments, or is he just incentivized to go in and assassinate somebody and then like block out still? Like, I don't see how this incentivizes him to do anything else with the ability. All it does is limit the ability so it can't block an infinite amount, which sure is good because that's going to limit him in some way, shape, or form. But realistically, like, it's not going to solve the ability. The problem with the ability is the fact that you literally like get assassinated and he controls that space through that assassination threat for free just because he has it.
That's going to be thrown his way. This might create some problems with the faster shooters in the roster, but that could just be an interesting design decision. I don't know. And finally, to wrap this all up, since Hazard can use his block for more other purposes rather than negating damage, let's give him something else to do. My idea here is that holding block in front of an ally will give them a little bit of health and a little bit of overhealth that will tick down the second he stops guarding them.
No, that's you don't need that. That's just kit bloat. That like come on, dude. Like, come on.
Only gives Hazard another use specifically for
make
his
the
allies,
thing you have work. Don't add more things.
But it might allow him to stop tunnel visioning the backline in the middle of fights. Instead of always having to jump to do
it changes gameplay loop then. You have to change the whole gameplay loop in order to stop him tunnel visioning the backline.
Damage every single time.
All you've done is added adapted shields to ball, the button that nobody fucking presses, right? Apart from in these situations, that's all you've done. The shield giving out, the sharing. That is just an addendum to the kit that makes him maybe a little bit less frustrating for low-ranked players to play with occasionally, because they think that he's doing a good thing by giving him health sometimes, but yeah.
To save a teammate instead. That will get him off your backline in a different way. He's also a pretty mobile character, so I don't think it's a bad fit for him to be hopping between both the enemy and his team.
No, I think that's awful. That's a terrible solution, and you should feel bad about it.
Dynamics as well. You could use all of your block pre-fight to give Tracer some overhealth and let her lead the charge, and you be the secondary with a lot less survivability. There are definitely
absolute insanity. Just let him block into the enemy team with life steal, like to remove his lethality, increase his AOE potential. I actually I love our Hazard so much. It feels so satisfying just to load it up, and you block into 3 people, you're gaining so much health. You're like on 60 health per second of heal. It's so fun. It's so good, and it doesn't feel oppressive to play against because he hasn't assassinated somebody already, because he's not incentivized to do that. Shame Didact is changing it then. Oh no, what's Didact doing? I hate him.
A couple of effects you could add to Spike Guard to do relatively the same thing, but I feel like this one is the most straightforward. Finally, we have Ramatra. First off, no more blocking forever during the duration of Nemesis form, but let's make it a little interesting. Ram doesn't have a resource or a separate block health bar, so I think giving him something akin to the posture meter in Sekiro could be the way to fix this.
The posture meter in Sekiro? Will they get fucking riposted?
Basically, when Ram takes damage while blocking, his posture meter will build. While he is blocking, that posture meter cannot fall at all. He has to put his hands down in order for it to decline. If Ramatra fills his meter, he is going to lose control of his character, play a break animation that might last about a second, and automatically be forced into his Omnic mode. This actually punishes Ramatra if he holds.
And if you did, okay, so this is a fix, but he currently hasn't done the correct thing, which is in order to do this, you would have to significantly lower the cooldown of the ability, and that change would be the good change, making it more aggressive. Right, that would be the change. And lower the duration, lower the cooldown, that works. But you have to lower that cooldown, you have to lower that duration at the same time in order to make it have more aggressive use cases. Otherwise, you're just going to get punished straight after.
His block too long.
You still never press the button.
To figure out a way not to take too much damage, or else he'll either die or lose his nemesis mode even earlier than he was supposed to. And don't forget, this will count during his ult, so it is really, really good against it in particular. I would also say that we have to make sure that when Ram breaks his stance, he has a longer cooldown to get back into Nemesis. You don't want him popping Nemesis, breaking instantly, and then 8 seconds later, getting right back into it. I think the easy thing to do here is to take the max amount of time you're allowed to be in Nemesis mode, add it to the cooldown of Nemesis mode, and then subtract however long he was in Nemesis before he broke. That will give you your new cooldown. So that's the big thing, but just like Hazard, I want to introduce a little bit of utility to it so that he's encouraged to use block.
So he hasn't mentioned a single cooldown reduction, has he? You're halfway there, Lane.
In other ways. So what I've come up with is, what if when you held the block for a second or two and then released it, you got a short burst of speed, faster than Nemesis mode would typically provide. Him and his allies in a very small radius would also get these effects. Basically, since Ram is so large, when
So I speed in, I block, and then I speed in. Nah.
The idea here is basically he's able to use this to jump in front of his teammates to tank damage for them, and then give them a speed boost to try to get out of that situation.
That is an aggressive use case, and I agree that is good. But if it doesn't come with the associated cooldown reduction, it's bad. And I think being able to block infinitely into the enemy team is bad as well, but that's a 5v5 problem. For instance, we removed the 15% speed boost, and I feel like Ram's a lot more healthy without it in general.
Or press the advantage. What you could do with this is waste some of those precious seconds in Nemesis mode to give your teammates a crazy speed boost to start engages. I think this works well with that posture meter because it gives him a means of escape if his posture is high and his health is low, but also there's some risk versus reward because he might break while he's trying to build up a speed boost. This actually gives Ramatra high risk to his high reward options and gives him a lot more to think about when he's in Nemesis mode. I am a little concerned about how good this is going to be applied to his ult, but you can always nerf the duration or the damage or anything like that if it's way too much.
I mean, yeah, like anything would be better than the current situation, but like if we're talking about fixing the glitch as a baseline, right? We just say we're gonna fix the glitch regardless. Okay, we're blocked to like 70% damage reduction, and we fix that to a reasonable level. Do we need all this extra stuff? I mean, it does seem like a lot's being added without like a very, like, you can just kind of fuck around with the cooldowns and make this character a lot more healthy in my opinion, right? Like you can just say like form is up for 5 seconds and down for 5 seconds, and I'll be honest, the character flows a lot better. But it's really difficult because right now you can't layer your vortex and your shield in order to be able to survive if you form aggressively. That's the problem. It's way too much downtime.
Do I think that these solutions are perfect? They're all hypothetical and untested.
You can always add stuff and fix things. I think that's the main thing. You can always add stuff. It's so easy to just keep adding and adding and adding and shave off the corners and make it less, more generalized in the things that it does. The elegant way of doing that design is to take away. Right, take away, minus, change around stuff that is core to it, refocus the character. That's what you should be looking for.
But I think this is a good direction to bring these characters in. It feels like they can kind of just do anything because they can. Their game plans remain too unfazed in their current state. I want to hear your guys' ideas and critiques about these things because I am not the authority on this and I am always open to suggestions. Well, lads, we did it. We have finally solved the most annoying tank abilities in the game.
It's a second rug pull.
Pat on the back. Now, I think it's time for a little bit of rest and relaxation while we wait for Blizzard to fix what's going on. Hi. Hey there. What's What's up? Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Okay, lightning round here. We gotta do Orisa Fortify because it's like a block, although it's 10 times worse.
And the spin's like a block.
At the push of a button, you get complete CC immunity, plus over health, plus damage reduction from all sides, plus no more headshots, plus you are fully actionable during the entire thing.
Reduce the cooldown of spin so that you can spin in, fortify, then spin out. That sounds very oppressive to most people. Also reduce the duration of spin so that you can actually CC if they don't fortify fast enough while they're going in. When they do go in, give fortify a X damage per second aura around them that pierces shields for maybe like 30 damage per second. Reduce the length of fortify to about 2 or 3 seconds. Make it so that it can be used aggressively. Explain to me why it does damage, because that is soft pressure, my dude. And that you need to give it an aggressive use case in order for it to be interesting in any way, shape, or form. Otherwise, it will only be used to sustain and to peel and to make it so that you can stab wherever the hell you want. If you don't give it any damage or any aggressive use case, then it never will have one. Add it to spear? No, that sounds awful.
What? Other than it being cooldown based, this ability has basically no weaknesses outside of extremely niche situations. I'm not going to
reduce the damage mitigation. That's also what we did.
Fortify into a block because we have plenty of those already, but I am going to use what I've learned to see if I can adapt it for this ability. Part of why Orisa Fortify is so good is because Ori keeps her insane lethality while she's using it. So I think it would be interesting to make her choose between survivability and lethality on the fly. One way to do that I can think of is to scale her damage reduction with her overheat resource. The lower her overheat, the more damage she can reduce, and vice versa. This will make it so that Ori is constantly trying to figure out if she should greed for more damage or to hunker down and play it safe. Now that there's a tell, Orisa going on the offensive.
So basically, what your solution to all of this is to make her even more extreme like the other tanks, so that she's either greeding for an insta-kill or saving the block to be able to sustain infinitely through things. That's your solution, Lane. Is that really what you want here? Come on, dude. Like, come on. I know you can do better than this.
You as the enemy have a way to punish her during Fortify. This also enables a legit reason to use Spear Spin during Fortify because it enables her to go aggressive early and gives her a safety net. Overall, her potential free limbs and damage...
Yes, enables her to all in on a DPS. Like every other fucking 5v5 tank.
...is greatly reduced, but it still allows her to make plays like she could. She just has to think about it a lot more. I do think Fortify could benefit from a complete overhaul or an outright replacement, but I don't work on the video game, so this will do for now. Unless, you know, there's somebody watching this at some company that maybe works on Overwatch that, you know, is looking for a young, spunky computer science and film studies major.
Don't employ him.
Give them
He's
a unique
wrong.
perspective on the video game.
Don't
Hi,
give him a
my
job.
name is... So, overall, at the end of this thing, what is my big idea here? Well, I think it's easy to get blindsided by the hate that we have for some of these characters and their abilities. I feel like once a week I go on Twitter and I see a newly minted die-hard Ramatra hater, but I never see the solutions to try to fix him. Take your anger, take your rage, and funnel it into something productive. What do you think this is?
They gave Costa a job, it's totally possible.
Not everyone is a game designer. I mean, hell, I'm not. Yet. But I think that when we all put our heads together, we can find a solution. The Overwatch team does use YouTube, and they do go on Twitter, so they might see your idea and be inspired. Who knows? It just needs to be out there first for it to happen. I haven't made a video game yet because
I think it's likely that they'd be happy about these solutions, sadly.
Hard and it's time consuming, and I don't have a lot of leisure time because I have a soul-sucking job. But I love talking theory. When you proc discussion, it really isn't that hard, and it's easy to get a lot out of them. So go out there, go manifest your shitty ideas and put them out into the wild, because you never know. You might just be the savior of Overwatch.
I will manifest my slop into the world.
Or the harbinger of death, but who's counting, am I right? Holy moly. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment too.
Wait,
Holy moly.
that's consistent backlighting. Why is your green screen effect so bad? That's quite a good green screen. I can key it myself right now. Shall we key it for him?
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment, do any of that stuff. But I want to grab your attention because this video is a trial run for my first second channel video. That's going to be Lane's Domain. It is on, drumroll please, Desert Island video games. And a little bit more than that. You'll have to watch to find out. That will be coming out
Quite a bit of shadow? Yeah, but at least it's flat, right?
hopefully soon, now that I've got this setup going. If you want to catch me
So
live,
many green screens that are just like lit light on one side and dark on the other.
I'm not live very often, but twitch.tv/Lane Hemingway or right here on this YouTube channel is where you're going to find me. If I'm live,
Slop. God damn it. Lane. Stop this now. Fuck. Oh man. Yeah, I think he's diagonal to the solution. I don't think he's got it right. We making enemies tonight? Nah. I've been talking to Lane in his comments for a little while. I don't think Lane's a capable of being my enemy. It's so sad to see him so close to the solution, but just like not there, right? Just making the only aggressive use case of any ability will be to insta-kill a DPS. That's what we're gonna have in the future. That's the generalist slop of Overwatch 2. We adding Lane to the harem? Well, I already gave him a little kissy, so maybe give him a little Spider-Man kiss. There's nothing wrong with that. I'll play one game, then I'm gonna look at one more video. Actually, do I have time? Yeah, I have time. You know what? Let's just go straight in. What do you want, OC or whistle? Do you want OC or whistle? Whistle? I don't know, whistle? Okay, you can get spoilers for the videos. OC is often smart, and often wrong. Only thing devs know is to add damage to everyone. True, yeah, true. To watch both at the same time. Slot master. The ultimate react. Yeah, let's go whistle. Right.
Overwatch is a game of rules. Play high grounds, use cover, don't play Widow if you're gold, etc.
So this is why Freya is the Overwatch meta. I saw it a couple of weeks ago. I've been wanting to respond to it. I have not watched through. But like I've got ideas, so let's just go through. My ideas on Freya at the moment is Freya's absolute degenerate bullshit and should be removed from the video game if they are not inclined to make it so that she cannot 2-tap body shot. She should be able to 2-tap body shot with a primary fire or maybe 2 primary fire hits. 2-tap is just awful and oppressive and feels terrible, and the reason why it feels terrible is because Freya has an infinite amount of access to space because she can go up 50 miles into the air and always access an alternate angle around, for instance, the enemy tank. So yeah.
Top level, the teams who play the best are those who can consistently follow those rules and only break them to surprise their opponents. The nuance of Overwatch and why it's so difficult comes from situations where these rules become hard to follow or when characters break those rules. For example, say you're playing Winston and the other team swaps to Cassidy and Torbjorn with a Baptiste and Brigitte backline. In most cases, Winston wants to dive and fight the enemy backline, but against a composition like this,
Winston wants to die.
Has to pick his dives more carefully, sometimes being unable to dive anyone due to the risk of blowing up.
We just added one letter in there. It's a little bit of a difference.
His bubble. Or say that you're playing Ashe and the other team is on Widowmaker. Usually, Ashe wants to sit far back and get picks on the enemy team's backline, but that suddenly becomes difficult since Widow does it better than her and beats Ashe in the 1v1 at nearly any distance. Sometimes, characters break rules just by the nature of their kit and the rest of the game is forced to adapt. Supports, for example, are generally quite safe when they're behind cover and can't see anyone on the other team. They can deal with the potential risk of flankers using sound cues and scouting from the rest of their team, but against Sombra, a hero who can turn completely invisible, they aren't nearly as safe, having to rely on pure reaction time or aid from their team to survive her flanks. Tanks usually have to focus most on controlling their position, when to walk forward, when to walk back, where to rotate, etc. This gets complicated or even thrown out the window against a Roadhog, who can pull you from 20 meters away if you show yourself for more than half a second. These two heroes in particular have something in common though. While Sombra and Roadhog break fundamental rules of the game, they sacrifice their entire kit to do so. Sombra, while good at getting to and fighting enemy supports, isn't as good at controlling lanes as a Genji or Tracer, and oftentimes has to forfeit that entirely.
Yeah, they got the access, but they don't have the dueling potential, yeah.
Roadhog, while he does do a good job of punishing people for stepping out of position, doesn't have the same tools to punish the enemy team like Orisa's Fortify, Winston's Bubble, or Junker Queen's Shout.
I think when you've got the extra tank in the game, that these things do wash out a little bit more though, right? I think Sombra's a little bit more healthy when you've got two tanks to potentially disable with it. And also, they had to change Sombra around so much for the 5v5 format that she became... Like, I don't know. Like, they are inherent breakers, don't get me wrong. I think they've had to be here through having no other place to go, if you get what I mean. So, like, I don't consider breaking the rules to be a bad thing exclusively. I just think 5v5 isn't a format that's very giving to things that break the rules. I think you have to be quite strict in your balancing and your design for these.
The point to be made is that Overwatch is a game of rules, and one of these rules is balance. A hero must either follow the traditional rules of the game...
Pack it up, guys. Freya is not balanced. I've worked it out.
...or sacrifice essential parts of the role they are supposed to fill in order to break them. Enter Freya, a character who by most measures would fall under the long-range DPS or hit scan role. Among this role is characters like Sojourn, Ashe, or Cassidy. These heroes tend to have a few main traits that define the strengths and weaknesses of the role as well as the nuance of where to play them. Hitscans tend to have more range than other heroes, strong tank pressure, and some way to very quickly eliminate enemy squishies. These strengths are distributed amongst the role and usually balanced out by differing mobilities, how good these heroes are at taking duels, and how easy it is to kill these heroes.
I think there's quite a lot of things that vary with this definition as well. For instance, like lethality onto squishies is, I guess, consistent kill threat, like doing it into my language down here. Let's just bring up everything. Tank pressure, I mean, sure, but like, is it inherent to hit scan that they have to have really high tank pressure? I mean, that can vary quite a bit. Range, obviously, but that varies a little bit. In terms of burstiness, I feel like that's really one that varies quite a bit as well. Is this consistent features? I don't think they have to be, especially the consistent kill threat onto squishies. There are lethal or less lethal hit scan DPS, so yeah, maybe not for all of them.
Looking at these with other hit scans, we can see how they are relatively balanced within each other, a good niche for each hero. Now let's examine these same statistics in Freya. Freya has a very fast 2-shot on 250 HP targets, no damage falloff, and absurd tank pressure. Beyond this, she is extremely mobile and is very dynamic in her movement.
The funny thing about her tank pressure is she has very high sustained tank pressure, but also such a big burst that she always threatens tanks to be able to die at the drop of the hat regardless, because she can just like shoot everything into it. It's a nested damage on Freya that's problematic towards tanks for the most part.
Herein lies the problem. Observant viewers will see I didn't yet rate her survivability or duel potential.
Yeah, she doesn't need duels. She just whoop, I'm up. She always wins the duels because she picks the duels exactly when she wants to, like Tracer. She's very Tracer-ish in the way that she works and the way that she can be opportunistic with her duels. So yeah, it's like she's bad at defensive duels, don't get me wrong, but like
On paper, she's not much better at either of these than the likes of Ashe. She has a similar time to kill, not the most forgiving hitbox, and less overall HP than Ashe. So what's the problem? It's her mobility. Freya's mobility is dynamic. She has an omnidirectional hop that she can use several times in a duel. She can slow herself down in the air while moving any direction, and she has a jump that sends her relatively high, which she can also use for her slowdown mechanic. In combination, these things mean she can disengage super easily from anyone trying to kill her.
Jesus Christ, look at that disengage, man.
Combination, these things mean she can disengage super easily
Jesus.
from anyone trying to
Man,
kill her, and can actually
crazy.
win many more 1v1s than Ashe could, because the heroes she's dueling simply can't hit her as much as she can them. This puts Freya in the top of her role in all categories. That alone may seem like it's extremely broken, and while it is powerful, this still doesn't necessarily break the Overwatch formula. On paper, a hero with these stats still wouldn't have the same almost 100% pick rate we see from Freya in pro play. Even with great tank pressure, Freya just can't do the same job as Cassidy, and even with impressive range, she just doesn't
because she's not A star for any of this. She's not an S rank hero on any of these things necessarily. The problem is that the implied pressure of having all this damage nested in your kit means that the enemy team can't do certain things, such as hold like interesting space. I think the ability to access angles is also like her S rank ability, honestly. Just Tracer, but on a hit scan.
have dynamite like Ashe does. So the question remains as to why her
Doesn't have dynamite. Yeah, get fucked. Like, dynamite doesn't matter in any way, shape, or form. The ability to spam out 3 bolts is better than dynamite in any way.
pick rate is so obscenely high in professional play. Some of you may hop to a pretty reasonable answer. Freya can
I think we should nerf Genji reward.
survive while maintaining an angle. If Ashe gets dove, she often has to use
Well, she's on an angle by default, and she can swap angles instantly with the flight thing. So if she's able to take a good angle, she can then swap that angle at will.
coach gun to escape and has a worse position for the next 10 seconds or so. Freya has enough mobility to escape while also maintaining a good position for the team fight. While this is a good answer, Sojourn, especially with her double slide perk, also has this capability, and her pick rate hasn't been as dominant as
Mobility creep game.
Freya's currently is, besides when she's had a one-shot or equivalent, which Freya doesn't have. So what gives? What does Freya have that other hit scans don't? Let me just show you this clip from professional play, unedited and uncommentated, and see if you can figure out what it is.
Well, she's just got access to the backline around tanks, yeah. She got access to anything.
Did you catch it? No.
Yeah,
Let's look from the
I think
enemy
I caught
tank's
it.
point of view.
Willem Dafoe meme? And why have you not got the Willem Dafoe meme? There you go, guys. This is the tank's point of view. Literally, wasted opportunity.
Here lies the fundamental problem with Freya's design, which allows her to be played almost anywhere and completely
She's uninteractive because she's a flying hero.
dominate the meta. Hit
And
scans
even worse than that, she's a flying hero exactly when she wants to be, without all the weaknesses of being a flying hero when she doesn't want to be.
generally have to choose between shooting out the enemy tank or shooting the enemy backline with their position. Positions best suited to forcing enemy tank typically don't have the greatest line of sight on the enemy backline, or if they do, the enemy tank can quickly and easily deny it. Due to Freya's mobility, she can quickly and easily shoot the backline past the enemy tank. This may not sound particularly novel, and if that's all I had to say, it may not be, but there's more to it. Let's give an example from trying to win this choke on King's Row's second point. If there is a tank holding the choke and a backline on Bookstore, Freya can just completely and utterly ignore the tank with her flight ability and run into the backline.
Whee, says Freya.
No other hit scan is capable of doing this. Let's get a simple recap here of how each hit scan would be forced to approach this fight.
How's that old bag? They tell me it's dog shit, but it's cheaper than Pulse, takes no skill to use, and insta-kills anyone. Takes no skill to use. It can be hard to hit. Like, that's the only reason. Yeah, the ult's fine. Like, I don't think it's that bad. It's bad because it's a dueling thing, I guess. I think people are very addicted to their high value burst ultimates, right?
Cassidy doesn't have the mobility to bypass the tank, so he's forced to sit here and fight. By the time he forces the enemy tank to leave, their backline might be long gone, or he may have had to run away due to being low HP.
But Freya fucking yeets there.
Soldier, yeah, don't play that hero. Ashe actually has a way to damage the backline from here in Dynamite, but that's all she has. She can't move any further, and I think a little boom and burn on 2 or 3 people is different from killing 1 or 2 of them outright. Sojourn is, as expected, the one who can do this closest to how Freya does, but she's still lacking an angle. Sojourn either has to use the rail to force enemy tank out, meaning she can't kill a squishy
It's all the pros of Farah without all the cons of Farah, right? That's Freya.
after forcing it.
She gets to be a hit scam while having the vertical mobility, and that's crazy OP. And it's not even vertical mobility, because you don't even need to get anywhere. Like, she just has it, and it's incredibly hard burst. So, like, it's difficult. I think you just remove the 2-tap and make the character a little bit more tank focus. But then again, that probably breaks 5v5, because 5v5 is such a fucking fragile format that any tank hate whatsoever, or any character that has to hate tank whatsoever, is just degenerate or doesn't work. Right?
Or she has to slide in away from the enemy tank, meaning that she's now vulnerable in the enemy team, or at the very least, has a limited angle from this high ground position. Freya does not suffer from any of these caveats. Some of my viewers are smart and will recognize that this isn't the end-all be-all. There are still 2 ways for a hit scan to potentially get into this fight, being the high ground window or the right side flank. Window allows you to see the enemy backline without having to look at the tank, but once the backline backs away from Bookstore, which they usually will when fighting a tank, a hit scan is going to struggle to extend without the enemy tank turning around and eating them alive. Know who doesn't have a problem with that? Freya. This right side angle certainly may not have any inherent advantages for Freya compared to other hit scans, but as far as a hit scan angle goes, it's not too amazing anyways due to being far too congested.
I have free access. Woo!
Punish him. And this is just one example. There's even more parts of Freya's kit that break.
Weirdly enough, if you ask any question about Overwatch and to why something's good or bad, most of the answers is timing, range, and angles. Who would have known?
Basic rules of the game. She has multiple disconnected movement cooldowns, meaning that, in this clip, Slowdive is able to start in a completely safe position far away from the teamfight to poke enemy tank, then get into the brawl while still being able to escape with his updraft. Or what about her air stall, giving her access to things no other hero in this game has, like this clip from Cabe, who, by the way, is awesome to work with, using Freya's air stall and verticality to make this part of Circuit Royale trivial, even though it's nearly impossible for hit scans usually. Or what about the fact that her vertical mobility can eliminate cover from many positions? Like here, where Seaful goes for a perfectly acceptable staging dive onto Julia and still gets bursted down anyways, because surely that's okay for a hero to
Yeah, I just hate that life right now.
do. Critical thinkers of you might say, well, Farah can do the same thing.
Even if they nerf that arrow damage, wouldn't just accessing any angles still OP? Yeah, I don't think it is fixable in 5v5, as I said. I think there's just a problem with it. There's too much burst in a kit, there's too much nested value. I guess the answer would be changing the cooldown to increase the cooldown, make the cooldown a lot faster on the shots, but then make it so that she doesn't nest 3. So there has to be a cooldown after 2. I think that would reduce her pressure onto tanks, make it go back into the more primary fire. Or we could just, I don't know, nerf the primary fire damage or something like that. I don't know. Just throwing things out there that Blizzard might want to look into.
Her directs do almost as much damage as a Freya bolt, and she's airborne too.
Well, it changed to 6v6. She could still burst. But the oppressiveness of that burst onto tanks is reduced by the format because you got that other tank there. Matters less if you get that individual kill. Matters less if you shut down an individual tanks. And because the support passive and stuff like that has been reduced, then you can't shut down individual. Sorry, because the DPS passive has been reduced onto tanks. Oh, it's the same onto tanks, isn't it? Well, ideally, I'd remove the DPS passive anyway. I guess it's the same in that regard. I'm still Realth code pilled that it changes in my mind. Realistically, the idea is that by removing the DPS passive, the tanks are less oppressed by taking large bursts of damage like Freya's triple tap, right? Like, that's the idea behind it, but yeah. Obviously,
There is somewhat of an argument to be made here. Freya is much harder to kill due to her hitbox and dynamic mobility, and more deadly too since her projectiles are faster. Roping back in a bit, we can see how Freya breaks some fundamental rules of the game, but more importantly, unlike Sombra and Roadhog, she doesn't have to make any sacrifices.
I don't think there's a way to fix Freya without compromising on something. I think fixing the double taps are the first way to go, quite frankly. And I think that only really works in 6v6 for the most part. Because if you remove the double tap in 5v5, she becomes completely fucking useless. It's really sad for it.
Freya can eliminate cover from certain positions, reach verticalities that nobody else can, and be much less killable in the air than any other hero. But she still has really good kill potential on the enemy backline, really strong tank pressure, insane mobility, and is very hard to beat in a duel. Overwatch is a game of rules, and some characters break these rules. The best characters break these rules without making any sacrifices to their kit. Now that we know why Freya is so powerful, let's take a look at how Lip,
Bolas.
the best hit scan
See,
of all
Bolas, travel time is the answer for the most part on why it's hard to hit.
time, plays her versus Zeta Division, a top Korean team, to see her kit in action and hopefully learn a thing or two about how we can abuse her and how we can
I
play.
think dashes shouldn't recharge arrows, but the updraft should. Sadly, that's pretty core to the character's fantasy, the dash is recharging.
Around
Can't
her.
really change it.
The first fight sees Crazy Raccoons try to take this top left via brawling. This position is notoriously hard to push as 5 members due to how congested the choke is itself, alongside the fact that hit scans and flex supports have a very limited and narrow line of sight.
Does Lip
however,
just go, whoop, I'm going over?
being on Freya, uses
So
her
they just go
jump
really
to
wide.
bypass this entirely, giving him a skylight view of the enemy team. Since Flora is also on Freya, he opts to use his bolts to try and duel her, but it's worth noting that he also had the option to just kill this Juno if he aimed for her and hit the shots. He misses these shots, but is
Lip
able
is so good. Clip of Lip missing 3 shots.
to help finish the kill onto Bernard, and seeing that he has limited positions to play here, swings over to the window, yet again using his mobility that no other hit scan has to reach a position and line of sight, taking out
If they just went into primary instead of firing the extra 2 bolts, they would have instantly got the kill on Juno.
Finn. While CR lost the fight, the 2 picks Lip got means that they can move the point over to the next corner. Lip uses his mobility to skip this usually dangerous rotation to the right side, and as Zeta Division runs in, he uses his fly, giving him the option to take out either Finn or
See, if you're able to play here, because of this roof here, if you have the updraft, you're just able to stand wherever the hell you want. You're just unchallengeable. Look at the enemy team. Who can challenge them? Nobody. They're just able to take this space, right?
Flora. He misses these shots, but as his team flips the map,
Hello, mobile rogue.
he uses the opportunity to fly up to this rooftop and ride it over to Zeta Division's backline. Missing most of
Oh,
his
look at this
shots, but
bullshit.
aiding with
Come
the kill
on.
the
Come on,
floor.
Blizzard. What are you
After some
doing?
kills and ults get traded, Crazy Raccoons is rewarded a trade for their efforts. Critical viewers of mine may have noticed something odd about this thus far. Lip is missing a lot of his shots, as in he has only hit 2 of his attempted bolts on squishies thus
Ain't that the truth?
far. Many may believe this brings into question as to how good of a player this actually is, or if this is even effective playstyle at all, especially if you aren't well attuned to professional play. This comes from a critical misunderstanding of all hit scans, not just Freya. While hitting shots is indeed important, the secret ingredient of a great long-range DPS player isn't the amount of shots they hit, it's how many opportunities they have to hit these shots, with mounting pressure and speed as they play against better opponents and the game gets harder. To be more specific,
Or Lip could just hit the shots. I mean, it's not that hard. Just click him, innit?
there have been 3 team-to-team interactions thus far in this game where each member was involved in a team.
What matters is the amount of pressure you can put on the enemy team. Pressure is independent of, for the most part, of whether you actually hit the shots, and how many peaky, like, important shots you actually hit. Right here, a couple of really good shots. Killed the Juno. Good enough, right? We got it. Whatever.
Fight. In that time period, Lip has found 1, 2, 3, 4 opportunities where it was possible for him to get a kill that his team would not have otherwise gotten, and he managed to find kills in 2 of them. Just remember, pros are pros for a reason. Don't criticize it until you've truly analyzed it and seen how it functions. The best of the best do a lot of things that might seem completely lacking in value altogether.
Man, I really wish I had double shield to stop this absolute heinous bullshit. If only I had another tank to zone this out, that'd be good, right? Maybe we should get a flying tank in the game. That sounds fun. Can't have that in 5v5 though. That'd be degenerate.
Alternatively, he could just open up the next fight with a kill onto Flora and
Diva? What? Having a Diva and another tank to make it so that you can have interesting stuff like this without it being completely degenerate? Watch out for the sniper tank. I think the sniper tank will work fine. I think it'll work fine. Probably like an ability as a sniper, not like a primary gun as a sniper, but I think you can do it.
poke phase and shut both of us
Just
up.
give it a
He
long
follows it
telegraph.
up by running past Bernard and aiding a kill onto Alpha Yi, capturing the first point.
Alfie literally just in the corner.
Next fight begins, and Lip patiently waits for his Orisa to approach before soaring to the window and looking for a bola as well as some bolts.
Bolas.
While he doesn't hit any of them, yet again the value is in the fact that he could have, plus the other team has to dedicate Flora to stopping him. He then looks back to the initial team fight and obliterates the tank with the aforementioned obscene pressure before...
Is the margarine flora in every single other country, or is it just England that every time I hear flora, I think flora buttery? Right? Is it just me? Or, like, their name's been completely ruined by that butter brand.
dying due to his team being down 2 members. As he respawns and Heesang gets staggered, Lip has to back away from Zeta Division's attempt to get more kills, where he manages to find
There's
Flora
a limit of he could have. At some point, he does need to hit something.
pressing the advantage, landing both bolts onto him and securing an opening pick. As he pushes forward, he takes this high ground behind his opponents looking for another ultimate. Yeah, Freya builds this thing stupidly fast, BT dubs. He misses it and ends up back main
Never
with
say
Zeta
BT dubs again. I hate you now.
using Ray and
So, what you got waiting for
You
you?
could call it sizzling golden pools of warm satisfaction. Or dollops, dibs, and dabs of creamy smooth, dairy delightfulness. You could call it many things, but you can simply call it... Oh. Flora Buttery. The taste you love with 70% less saturated fat than butter. Go ahead, cheat on butter, you naughty thing.
Okay, that's why I can't take Flora seriously.
trying to run him over. Thankfully, he's on Freya, so he can use this bullshit, so he can tactfully and gracefully use Freya's kit with skill not beknownst to our universe to run away from a Tracer at 16 HP and survive with the help of his team. He spends most of his time here denying a walk-up from the enemy Orisa using his obscene tank damage before his team wins by pushing with ultimates. Moving to third point, he jumps this wall for a quick peek. Yet another
I would not eat something that has ads like this. I don't want to be turned on by my food, god damn it.
potential kill opportunity. Actually 2, now that he has the major perk, since
So is it not probably best not to ask, honestly, Squid.
technically if he hits all of his headshots, he can kill 2 squishies. He trades frontline,
Another
goes
example of perks being fucking awful.
for another cycle over the wall, back to main for his team. He finds a lot of pressure onto Bernard and even drops his ultimate onto him before getting picked
Like, it's an
off.
Orisa in full armor in Fortify, and he's just like, oh, I'm gonna put 2 bolts into her, and that's a good idea of what to do. Man, what a life.
by Flores Bola. He comes back as both teams manage to reset for another 5v5,
I'm gonna bolt them. Move and shoot the tank.
and let's look at how many chances he gives himself
Thanks,
to
Blizzard.
get these
Love
kills.
that.
1 potential onto Finn, another to Pelican, 1 to Flora,
Ahoy.
a second to Finn, a third to Finn, a second to Flora, which he actually lands, and Crazy Raccoons cap the point. I don't want to spend too much time on this analysis. It's supposed to be a quick in and out of why Freya is so good and how the best in the world play her, but some quick takeaways. Number 1, her tank pressure is absurd. Abuse it. Number 2, she can create so many
It all comes down to shoot tank, doesn't it?
free
He
kill
hit a bolt. He hit the enemy Orisa twice in a row. Ooh, we good boys.
opportunities. Abuse it. Number 3, these kill opportunities are best synced with when one's team pushes. Notice how almost every instance I mentioned of Lip flying up or finding a flank was in exact sync with Max.
Oh,
This
did
is
they
not
actually
a
get something
trivial
out of this
kind of
flank?
coordination.
No,
It's
they get something
essential
out of
to
the
good
flank.
Freya gameplay. Overwatch is a
Just
game
AFK
of rules,
like normal.
and Freya breaks
Classic
these
Lip
rules,
moment.
disrupting the meta and dominating pro play. By following a few simple rules of your own, you can improve your Freya gameplay and dominate your own games. Thanks for watching.
Zoning out, they hit him. Okay. I am gonna head because I am going to the gym because I'm a healthy boy nowadays. I know you guys, healthy boy. I'm good. I'm good to myself. I will be back on Monday. I'm gonna try and keep a bit more of a consistent stream schedule. I know my streaming has been pretty shit recently. Specifically because I have been doing variety on a Monday and I've only really had 1 proper stream day with Pugs. So I've only been streaming 3 days and 2 of them have been non-content. So we will be doing Sunday Pugs tomorrow, and I'll be back on Monday to do more content streaming. So if you wanna see me Monday evening, I'll be around. Aside from that, I am doing a Lifeweaver video. I'm going to be doing a Lifeweaver rework video. I'm going to need more clips, so we're going to be doing Sunday Pugs. Hopefully get a load of footage from there. I've got most of it scripted, so it's only going to be like a 20-minute video. Just to do the rework, which I've been really looking forward to being able to like properly push reworks for a while now. Hopefully I can get that done. Anyway. No one's playing him because he breaks Pugs normally. Yes, that is true. He does break Pugs normally. But that doesn't mean I can't get enough footage to show it off. Right? That doesn't mean that. This nerf collab is terrible, by the way. Have any of you degenerates bought any of this? I can't believe you guys are like this, honestly. Like, who buys this, man? Pay to win guns? Like Lego Bastion? Do they have to, like, silenced? I like the sounds they make. What sounds do they make? Try it out. There's a try out. When's the try out button appear? That's actually quite a satisfying sound. I'd probably buy this just for the sound effect. Well, not buy it. I mean, I wouldn't spend any money. Try the Genji one. There's a lot of new sounds. How do I find it? I click the Nerf button and it's showing me random bullshit that is not Nerf stuff. Nerf Mega Bundle? Nope. I guess I'll go to Genji. Is the bat? Okay, sorry. How am I meant to know that a bat is for Genji? These are basically mythic weapons, aren't they? Oh, that's a good sound. Oh, man. Their sound engine may be screwed, but their sound effect team are still great. Bonk, 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 bonk. Dash through. Melee. Okay. Blonk, blonk, blonk. What is the melee weapon? What's the melee weapon? Okay, maybe it's worth having. Oh, it's literally a little bonk stick. That's cool. My golden Nerf shurikens. Oh goddamn. Maybe I'll buy them so I can bonk people. I'm gonna have to be doing VOD reviews with people fucking bonking people for the next year, aren't I? Shit. Okay, have a good evening, guys. Love you very much. Pleasure. I'll see you soon. Cheers, guys. Bye. See you tomorrow. Good night. Bye.